Hello YouTube. I'm going to be making a short video on the tier list for the heroes in Showdown at the moment as of season 1.5, which is also pretty much going to be the burn meta because most of the strongest burns are on diffuses. Heroes that have like bad diffuses just aren't really top tier at the moment. I mean, you can somewhat compete, like in the case of Viper and Ning. I'd say she's probably mid tier right now. She has a really strong ice build she can do because of her Yueshan Enigma ability. It does like huge damage and procs Ice Blast pretty fast. And if you have max moderation, you can pretty much spam it on the little guys to clear them pretty fast. It makes her pretty good for Enigma if you have enough moderation and stuff like that. But outside of that, she's still kind of niche. And she somewhat could be high tier, but uh, I'm gonna just stick her with mid tier. Now, Feria, she has Diffuse combo, which is one of the better diffusers. She can do it consecutively, but it does take a little while to activate once you do activate the counterattack. So I'll place her at high tier, not quite top tier, because you won't really be able to land that many hits after your diffuses. The proc the Flaming Blade, which is one of the bigger burns. Now there's Tianhai. Tianhai is top tier right now, because his diffuse pretty much hits almost instantly right after he diffuses an attack. So it makes it really good for Flaming Blade and Raging Flames, because you're gonna be close all the time. Um, but also like really good for Hydro Flare builds, because he can pretty much just dodge cancel his diffuse pretty early, and it does a huge amount of damage pretty quick. Next is Temulch. Temulch is unfortunately bottom tier right now. His diffuse is extremely unreliable. Um, his ice build got nerfed pretty heavily with the removal of the ice potential. Um, like even in the case of Viper, his ability doesn't hit that hard. So going moderation doesn't help him that much. I mean, Area Ren does proc it pretty fast, but it's just not really that good right now. For Tarka, he has a similar case as Tianhai. His diffuse hits like almost like less than half a second after you defuse an attack. So it's pretty good for high fire builds, which is like the strongest build in the game right now. You can melt bosses and mobs pretty cool. Well, it's not as good for modding, but you can still melt them both if they're grouped around you when you do get a diffuse. So yeah, it's pretty good. He also has natural burns in his kit with his fireball and his diffuses and Aegis Break have a burn on it, but they're kind of small. I think his ult also has one when you do a double dash. So he has a lot of advantages for burn. I would say he's probably above Tianhai right now, actually. Just ever so slightly because he has natural burns in his kit, and this meta is just all about burns. Now Kurumi, I'd say she's low tier, not quite as bad as like Temulch. She can help her team with her buff, but yeah, her diffuse is not very reliable either, especially if your ping is in the higher ranges. It's just not at all for some reason. Hopefully they do fix it this season, but I'm starting to doubt that they will. Now Valda's diffuse is slightly more reliable for a diffuse soft. She also has her ultimate got a buff, so it's actually not a DPS drop to use it anymore. So, but she's still pretty much bottom tier. Her DPS is not that impressive. Even Temulch's base DPS is still better than hers. So, well, if you have Uri Ren, it's better. Otherwise, it's probably about equal. So yeah, I mean she's probably still good at Yamas though, because she has some good Hydro Flare and soaked rings you can grab. But it's still pretty niche. Not really used much in the current meta. Now there's Yueshan. I'd put him mid tier as well. Put him above Viper though. He has a reliable diffuse, but his counterattack is really slow. I mean, you can use his horizontal for a quick one, but he can't chain his diffuses either, so it gets very sketchy. Even if you try to dash cancel, it gets weird because it makes him do His Aegis Break Dash is something weird. He's still safe though, and his DPS is pretty good on his base kit. It's just he's not too crazy right now. Now Matari, um, she technically could be high or even top tier in the right hands, but because of her like ping reliance and just in general her extreme difficulty to use, I place her at mid tier. She has a pretty good diffuse for the current meta of Hydro Flares and Burns. Um, but her base kit is just really low damage, so if you're not landing the diffuses, you're going to be suffering, basically. And if your ping is just not high enough, it's not even going to register your diffuses sometimes. So yeah, she also kind of suffers some the same ones as Viper, Kurumi, and Valda and them. But it's still she can still chain diffuses and stuff like that and attack pretty quickly after. Now Wuchen, probably my favorite character this season. I play some top tier. He's not quite on the tier of Tarka and Tianhai though, because he can't really make use of Hydro Flare like that. But he does have a really good build with Skyfire and Stormstrike Sword. You just destroy mobs like nothing. Same for Feria. Um, I've shown him on my Enigma solo videos and stuff. Also, I have an Enigma Peak video coming up. I mean, no, I already posted that, I think. But I have a really fast speed run I did that's coming up soon after reset. But yeah, Wuchen is really good right now. He has a lot of survivability and stability because you can. It's pretty much a free Mortal Defiance every what is that, 30 seconds, and it lasts for 1 minute. So it's really good. His ultimate does crazy DPS. The only thing is though, if you use the ultimate while the buff's up, it can disrupt them, which is kind of bad for the current diffuse meta. So there's also that. But yeah, that's pretty much the current tiers, how all these heroes face in the current meta. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave one down. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like this content. Thanks for watching.